Hey Sagittarius, the Four of Wands. So I love the Four of Wands. This is about happiness, resting. In my other deck, this is, two people. In this deck, this is two people who are smiling at each other in front of like a new home they just purchased. So the Four of Wands definitely tells me that maybe you've gotten to a place with this person that there's forgiveness. Now, I'm not saying you guys are together, and I'm not saying everything's hunky-dory, but there are different stages that we go through when a breakup occurs or when we're not with somebody, right? There's chaos and grief and sadness. And the Four of Wands tells me you kind of gotten past that. You're in a stable place right now because it represents resting and a first completion. And again, happiness. So I feel like maybe you guys are in communication, or maybe you know that it's coming. There's something here. It's like they're right on the edge. Like you can feel them right around the corner. I can't explain it, but it's like the connection maybe just grew and got stronger, or maybe they have communicated, or maybe you just know you're in a good place that if they did communicate, it wouldn't be the pointing the fingers, taking the first jab. It's like you've progressed from the anger, the grief, the sadness, and you're looking forward to either something good with somebody else or possibly a reconciliation with this person. The next card you have is your current position coming into the month. Now you have the Devil. The Devil is Capricorn's card. So for some of you, that could be all it is. Maybe you have Capricorn placements. Maybe you're dealing with a Capricorn. But the Devil represents some sort of addiction or some sort of jealousy, a toxicity. So it's interesting you're coming into the month with this, but your theme of the month is the Four of Wands. I feel like the Devil is kind of a toxicity that you've gotten over, whether it's, you're dealing with like a narcissistic person, maybe you're dealing with somebody who got sober, maybe you've gotten sober. Again, it doesn't have to be something as major as an addiction or whatnot. It could just be a jealousy of some sort. You're coming into the month with this Devil, but I feel like it's almost like the Devil is washing away. Does that make sense? Like you're standing guard this month wondering like, is this person going to come in toxic because I can feel them near, or are they going to come in a better space? So your current position is, kind of wondering what's going on toxicity wise, like, have they mended? Have I mended? Could we have communication? It's weird, Sagittarius, because it's like, that there's going to be some sort of contact, or maybe they've already contacted you and maybe you guys are talking a little bit, or maybe it's a, friendly emoji or something, but you're still concerned about the past. The toxicity could just be fighting. It could be anger issues. There's a lot of different things. The Devil doesn't have to represent just, jealousy or addictions. There's a lot of other things that this can represent, fighting or hurt feelings. You understand what I'm saying? The next card you have is how you're feeling coming into the month. And you have Temperance, which, this balances out the Devil. This is saying, yes, you're worried about that rearing its head. You're worried about that. Those toxic feelings or toxic behaviors you or they or both of you had towards each other. But the Temperance is saying, no, I'm going to come in here balanced and strong. Temperance is about moderation, being patient. Okay. So Temperance is saying, I'm willing to wait for this if this is what I really want. And I feel like it is what you really want. But I feel like there are some things that need to be addressed before you guys can move any further. Because this Devil right here is rearing its head. It's saying you're fully aware that nothing's perfect. You're fully aware that relationships take work. You're fully aware that, not that any of this is, I'm not saying you're to blame or they're to blame, but that there's two people, it takes two people to tango. And maybe you guys were codependent. Maybe there was codependency here with this Devil. And that's why it's like, okay, the Temperance is here because you've learned how to cope with that type of behavior. You've learned how to cope without needing this other person. It's more of a want with this other person. Or you've learned how to cope, without, could be like, maybe you just kind of went into a slump, went on a bender, and now you're kind of like, okay, I can't allow this person to disrupt my happiness or disrupt what I want in life. The next card you have is your distant past. So over the past 5-10 years, could be throughout childhood, and you have the Nine of Cups. This is saying, look, directly, do not give up on what you want, Sagittarius. Do not give up on what you've always wanted, what you wished for, because somewhere along the line you lost yourself. Somewhere along the line, this person lost themselves. The Nine of Cups is here to remind you that in the past you had dreams. You wanted a family. You wanted a home to call your own. You wanted certain things, whatever it is for you. And the Nine of Cups is saying, look, there's no time like the present to get it. I mean, legitimately, this is the universe saying, you got the Sagittarius, with or without this person. You need to figure out what it is you want, what's important to you, where you're going, and then get it. Because again, with this Four of Wands, there's a first completion here. Either you guys can get back together, have a conversation, and communicate, or the first completion is moving on completely, releasing the toxic energy, and being done with it, and chasing after what it is you want. Even if that means meeting somebody else, or even if that means being alone and just being happy being alone. The next card you have is your immediate past, over the past few weeks, past month or two, and you have the High Priestess. All right, so the High Priestess is a holiness. It's a spirituality, but she or he, I don't apply sex to the cards, is very mysterious. So I feel like you haven't been in contact with this person. They haven't been in contact with you. You're really not sure what they've been up to. They're not sure what you've been up to. And frankly, I feel like you don't give a shit. I feel like you're kind of like, I threw it up to the universe and said, universe, if it's meant to be, if it's meant to happen, it will happen. But I feel like, something's coming back. It's really weird because they just showed me a picture of like a boomerang coming back. And so it's like, it's about time for them to come back around, but you're wondering if they're coming back like this or like this. You're hoping for this, but you're worried about this because that's what you've experienced before. So the High Priestess really is you going, you know what, universe, I put this in your capable hands. And if it's supposed to happen, it will happen. And right now I'm just going to work on myself and figure out my life and then go from there. The next card you have is your distant future. So over the next few months, and you have the Nine of Wands. So Nine of Wands is about being capable. It's about stamina. It's about strength. It's about the capability of doing what, like, people don't understand how strong you are. You wear this mask of, oh, I've got this or whatever, but underneath you're like raring, like your capabilities, your stamina of pushing through, whether it's good, bad, ugly, indifferent, is resounding. And it feels like this is like a test of your capabilities right now. And it's like, it's very strange. It's like the Nine of Wands is like screaming at me like, hey, I've got this. If you think that you have any pull on me, or if you feel like you have any influence on my life and what's going on and what's going to happen, you're wrong, because my strength is uncanny. And so I feel like this is saying that you have the strength to pull through and get over this relationship if that's needed, or you have the strength and stamina to see this through. It's very weird because now I'm starting to feel like some of you are dealing with somebody that had or have issues, mental health issues, addiction issues, jealousy issues, other things. And some of you are like, I've been here through this, through thick and thin. I'm willing to ride this out with you. And then others of you are, this is just the capability of being able to try and see this through one more time. For a lot of you, I get the feeling that you will have communication with this person, that you will find some sort of resting place with this person based on the Four of Wands. Not necessarily, it doesn't have to be a physical resting place, but you come to some sort of conclusion of, okay, yes, we can communicate, but this is how much I can give you right now. This is how much I can handle right now. Because for a lot of you, this person it was heavy. There's a heavy, and now that you're not with this person, there's a sense of release, and a sense of relief, and a sense of heaviness lifted. But at the same time, there's a belief that you guys aren't done, or that your story's not done yet. The next card you have is your immediate future. So over the next few weeks, very contradictory here, Sagittarius. It's kind of all over the place because the Six of Swords is abandonment, it's retreat, it's kind of letting go, it's moving on to a different chapter. I'm feeling like for some of you, you're moving on to a different chapter, but this one isn't completely closed. Maybe for your own sanity, you're leaving this toxicity behind, knowing that eventually you'll get here, maybe with this person, maybe not with this person. But again, there's some sort of stamina or capability here showing that the only way to get through to this person may just be to leave it behind, leave the situation behind. No longer give it any time of day until you see some sort of sign. I feel like maybe some of you are saying, okay, you know what? Obviously this isn't working. Obviously there's too much going on, and I need to leave the situation. It's that old saying, if you what is it? If you leave them and they come back, it's meant to be, or whatever. You get my drift. And I feel like some of you are going, no, that's it. I'm out the door. Like, I can handle this on my own. I don't need you, whatever this codependent was, or even if it wasn't codependent, whatever this, the fighting, again, toxicity is just all over this person you're dealing with. And I think you know it. And I think right now you're going, I got to go because I got things I want to do. I've got this 4 of Wands waiting for me, which is resting, happiness. And right now I'm neither of those with you in my life, and you know it. Now the connection is not gone, and I don't necessarily think that you'll never see this person again. I think this is just a time. Yeah, I think this is just a timing thing, because now you have the 9, which is Virgo. Well, the Hermit, but it represents Virgo. You could have Virgo placements in your chart, etc. Oh, I forgot to say that. Temperance, Sagittarius. You showed up in your own read, and you should know if you've seen my reads that when you show up in your own read, you're being your vulnerable self. You're being your most organic self, which makes sense right here. You're being patient with this situation, with whatever shit you're being dealt. But the Hermit represents Virgo, which means you're going inside. The Hermit is somebody who goes inside their man or woman cave, becomes one with themselves, deals with spirituality, retreats, okay? And you have 2 cards about leaving a situation. Right now, I feel like the only way you're going to get through to this person or get through this situation, or hell, like mentally balanced again, become your temperate self, is to go inside and close the door and say, you're not welcome here until I see you matching my capability, until I see you matching my strength. Because right now, I just feel like this person, again, there's heaviness when I think about this person. And I feel like you're torn because it's such a strong weight on your life, and it just doesn't deserve a place in your life anymore. But at the same time, you love and care about this person, and I honestly feel like they love and care about you. There's just something else with this devil mixed in the middle. All right, the next card you have is how you're feeling throughout the month. It could be beginning, middle, end. It could last for a day. The King of Cups. Okay, the King of Cups is somebody who's very calm, counseling. This person may be seeking counseling. Maybe you're seeking counseling. For some of you, this is like a divorce, or this is you started going through the divorce proceedings, you're leaving this person, or vice versa, cross watchers. It could be, that you're leaving the Sagittarius. But I feel like Sagittarius, you're done. But you may be seeking couples counseling, or you may be going to counseling. There could be some sort of abuse that was out here too, mental, physically, verbally, because I feel like with the King here, again, this represents somebody who's listening, somebody who's very calm, somebody who you can talk to. So maybe you're just talking to friends. Maybe you're just talking to people. Maybe you just need to get your mind off of the situation. Somebody out there is saying like rehab, or like not you, but this other person's going through it. Or it's weird too, because I almost feel like maybe this other person, for some of you, could have been married, and like they're not leaving the situation. And I guess that's something you guys had talked about or thought about, or maybe they were in the middle of a divorce and you thought that once the divorce was final that you were going to be together, and it's not happening. That could be for very few of you, but that definitely came up as a clear scenario. Yeah, okay. Your hopes or fears for the outcome of the month is the Ten of Swords, tragedy, loss, endings. There's definitely something that's ending, has ended, will continue to stay ended for quite some time. It's going to take all your strength to not take this person back. I feel like this 4 of Wands over here, originally I thought, hey, you're in a good spot with this person. You're in a place where you guys wouldn't fight. You're in a place where you guys can, come together and figure things out. But now I feel like this spot is going to be you, like by yourself, resting, a first completion, like really cutting this person out. I don't feel, Sagittarius, that this person is healthy for you at this time. I don't necessarily know that they will be healthy for you going forward in the future, because, the Ten of Swords, the Devil, the Ten of Swords is literally, now again, this is hopes or fears for the outcome, but I feel like this ending is like upon you. Now, again, I think that it could come back. I do feel like this situation, the connection is not completely done. However, I think for now, that's what you need to do. You need to retreat. You need to leave this situation and move to better, stronger ground. The next card you have is your outcome for the month, and you have the Empress. Now, the Empress is very nurturing, very loving. The hard part here, Sagittarius, is that you care about this person. So you're having a really hard time. Yeah, there you go. You're having a really hard time letting go. How do you completely dissolve something in your life that meant so much, that you loved and cared about? How do you completely let something go that, at one point you were so engulfed in that you were inseparable, that it was like twin flame energy, and it could be, a soulmate or a karmic connection or a twin flame type relationship. But the Empress is saying, you've loved, you will love again, you will nurture again, and you know that. Right now you're nurturing yourself and nurturing kids or fur babies or whoever. You have the strength and you're going to pull through this. You have the 6 coming up again. So you have 2 sixes, 6 of Swords, which is retreat, abandonment. I don't see any other way other than to close this chapter of your life right now. I keep hearing right now, which tells me it doesn't mean it's a permanent fix. It doesn't mean that that's permanently done. It doesn't mean that, no. And it's weird because remember I was just talking about somebody who's married or something like that. It doesn't even have to be marriage. It's third party. You have the 3 Pentacles here, which oftentimes means teamwork, accomplishment, success together. But that's not how this read is unfolding. This read is saying there's a third party situation. Either they're in a third party, they were in a third party, they've done this before, there's some sort of deception. I mean, this devil could represent, just somebody who's narcissistic, who, wants their cake and to eat it too. Somebody who cheats, lies, who infidelity, maybe sex addiction. Because right here, this is telling me you're leaving. They keep saying leaving the bastard. It could be bastard or bastardess. Because the 6 of Swords is saying you're leaving. It's gone. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. Maybe you've lived this lie for too long. You knew they were seeing somebody else. Maybe it keeps happening. There's something going on with this 3 of Pentacles. And like I said before, that married person, for one of you, 2 of you out there, there's a marriage situation, or you just found out they were married and you're like, what the fuck? I had no idea. Or you just found out, that they're seeing somebody in a serious relationship and they've been seeing you. There's very third party here. And you're just done. And I feel like the reason this devil's here is because they don't want you to go. And you're like, nope, I'm looking for a happy ending, and that's not with you, fucker. Ooh, sorry, I can't help that, but that just came out like without me even, sorry. But anyways, your clarifying cards for the distant future is the 4 of Cups, which is loss. It's apathy. It's feeling taken for granted, wasting your time. So you're going to have a hard time. You want this. You want to get to the 4 of Wands where you're resting, first completion. That's what you're doing here. This is your first completion. This is you going and saying, I'm taking no more. I'm not doing this. We're done. I can't. Nope, this isn't happening. And the 4 of Cups is you kind of over the next few weeks, over the next month or two, maybe going, I can't believe how much time I wasted on this person. I can't believe how many times they told me, we were going to make things happen. We were going to progress. We were going to get married. We were going to, he or she promised that they would stop talking to so-and-so, or they weren't going to lie to me about this anymore, or we were just going to be together. And like, they can't, this person is very narcissistic, like me, and tied with this devil. It's just not a good energy. Now you have the Queen of Pentacles, who is, somebody who's very generous. Okay, the Queen of Pentacles is somebody who is very nurturing, very much like the Empress here. So this tells me that you're going to be moving on, I think, okay? You guys can get as mad as you want, cross watchers. But the Queen of Pentacles tells me, it's like, I've learned my lesson. I'm wise. I'm not going back to this situation. I have love to give, but I have love to give to somebody who's going to reciprocate it. So I think that you're going to find this 4 of Wands energy, a resting place, a happiness with somebody else. Okay? I really do. Because the Queen of Coins or Queen of Pentacles is somebody who is, again, very nurturing, very, maternal, paternal, but very practical and ready to love somebody and ready to be extremely generous with their heart and emotions, but not whoever this is. So whoever you're dealing with now, again, they keep saying for now, which tells me this person could rear their head again at some point in the future. But right now, this is an ending. Right now, this toxicity is gone. You're kicking this to the curb. And if you haven't officially and you haven't gotten the closure, I don't even know that you care. Part of me thinks that you're like, I'm out the door. I don't give a crap if I ever see this person again. Now, time will tell because there's still a connection here. There's definitely still a connection here. But I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. All right, Sag. All right, Sag. All right, Sag.